Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, we've arrived. We're here. You remember back 5 months ago, it was Game 3, Yankees at home against the Houston Astros. Yankees already down 2-0, I believe, at the point. Trey Mancini hits a bases-clearing double, makes the score 5-0. You just have this pit in your stomach. So it was a cold Saturday night, a little bit of kind of rain in the air in the Bronx. And at that point, you knew the Yankees were done for the season. And, of course, the Yankees, Game 4, put up a 5 spot only to blow that lead and, of course, lose out to the Houston Astros and get swept at home. And you've just been waiting months just to try to get right back at it, just to, erase those horrible feelings you had. Well, we're here, Yankees opening day, and pretty much went textbook perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better game for the Yankees and the Giants. And really, that lineup they put out there was quite pitiful. But we'll get into the game, the whole thing, and some of the moves the Yankees made before the game. But make sure you subscribe to this podcast. So we have a whole season to go. So make sure you subscribe. So wherever you listen to this right now, if you're not a subscriber, do that. Crush the button and get notified when new content comes up the rest of the season. Get the little wrap-up reports. Get a little, a little fun stuff on the side. Little Yankee stories. Little Yankee history. A little mix it up there. So make sure you're a subscriber of this podcast. Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. This officially kicks off season 2, of the regular season of the podcast. So obviously we've been waiting a long time for this. We had this crazy off season. The Judge, ends last year with 62 home runs, but of course they have the disappointing ending. Then we go into this offseason with Judge as a free agent, and seems like there's a small smattering chance that the Yankees lose to free agents, to free agency to these very same San Francisco Giants. But last minute intervention by the Pope Hal Steinbrenner. Anyway, Hal Steinbrenner, while he was visiting Pope, makes the long distance phone call to Judge. They finally nip it in the bud, put the deal together, and then Judge signs with the Yankees for $360 million. And of course, before that, they signed Rizzo, bringing him back, and then after Judge, shelling out $160 for the injured Carlos Rendon right now, who's still going to be a couple weeks away from making his Yankee debut, also snagging him from free agency from the Giants as well. So Giants really had a rough offseason, and you kind of feel sorry for them because they also had the whole Carlos Correa issue. This originally going to have a $13 million deal with him, but then of course the physical didn't go quite what they didn't like to see. They didn't like what they see in the physical. They kind of dropped the deal, and the Mets picked up the deal. Then the Mets also didn't like the physical, so Correa also ultimately ends up back with the Minnesota Twins, which is kind of where we all felt he was going to be originally anyway. But nevertheless, so kind of a brutal offseason for the Giants there. So coming into this game, and for the Yankees, of course, with all the expectations and stuff, and Anthony Volpe making the team, so a little renewed excitement. Of course, the Yankees had got some injuries coming out of the chute, like I mentioned before, with Rendon, Bader, Luis Severino. But of course, the excitement of Volpe kind of masked a lot of that. And again, it was you could almost say Volpe was probably maybe the star of opening day, maybe not really an offensive force, but just in terms of the crowd reaction and everything, he definitely got some of the biggest buzz from the crowd, maybe second to Judge, if that, but maybe Volpe got a bit more there. So kind of good opening day, and it was kind of a breeze for the Yankees, an easy 5-0 win there. So now before the game, which was kind of weird, the Yankees ended up signing Franchy Cordero. Now, he was with the Orioles in spring training. They released him Monday, and the Yankees picked him up on a 1-year deal. So this deal, he gets $1 million of it gets considered major league contract money, and then he gets $180,000, which would have been the minor league money. But they signed him and brought him up to the major league roster. Gave him a major league contract right away with that. And it's kind of a weird move because it's like, all right, I mean, he can play all outfield positions, so that's good for his versatility. You can also play a little first base. Again, if you want to give, for whatever reason, you want to give Rizzo a blow, but you want a left-handed bat in there in the line, gives you that option. So Franchy, he bats left, which, of course, always good for Yankee Stadium, but throws right. But kind of a weird move. I don't know why they had to make this. I mean, backup first baseman, you always have DJ LeMayo as an option. You could do that. And you could always have someone from the minor league system. You could call it up if you just want an extra outfielder there. So kind of peculiar there. Now, they did start the season also adding Estevan Florial to the major league roster. So that was kind of a move that pretty much people didn't see coming. Now, that might change eventually once Harrison Bader comes back. But there's also speculation now that the Yankees might be working on a move for a pitcher, which then would make sense why they're maybe showcasing Florial. Now, so right now, as the Yankees stand, as they started the season, they went with 14 position players and 12 pitchers. But then Boone indicated a little after the game that they might be looking at a 13th pitcher. Then if that's the case, then you're going to say, well, probably trade one of your 14 position players. Who would that be? Unless there's some other deal work coming down the pipe with Gleyber Torres or Oswaldo Cabrera somehow thrown into a deal, which I extremely doubt. It would seem like Estevan Florial would be the one to be dealt in a deal. So maybe, within a week or two, we're looking at a situation where he's being shipped out. So right now, maybe Cashman has him up here on the Major League roster just to showcase him a little bit. And then they'll look to move him, for another pitcher at some point. Whether it's a starting pitcher, maybe just because, the Yankees are going to be a little shorthanded just with the Severino and Rondon injury, as well as this kind of Nestor Cortez a little behind just because he got a late start to spring just with the groin injury and all. So that could be a situation we see there. But nevertheless, so that was the team that the Yankees put together. And I guess for opening day, I guess the kind of big little bit of surprise, they actually started Judge in center. Now, we saw that a lot of that last season, but kind of seemed that was only going to be like a 2022 thing. But, I guess this with the right now with Beta out, I guess Boone has no problems still sticking with Judge there in center. Actually gave the start to Stanton right. And the goal is supposedly is to actually at least have Stanton play the outfield, more specifically right field, just because it's easier than left field at Yankee Stadium, at least 3 times a week. So I guess they just want to find a way to, because we've seen in the past when he is in the outfield, he's just more engaged and he does have better at bats. And with last season, with some of the injuries he had, he was pretty much relegated, especially the second half, just being a DH. And again, hitting wise, I mean, yeah, he did crank out 31 home runs, but batting average was like 211, which is just putrid. So maybe they figured, he's going to play the field more, he'll feel better at the plate, and maybe he'll hit for a little higher average. And again, he's one of the players. If you watched my most recent YouTube episode, I mentioned you might have to keep an eye on him out of the gate. I mentioned both him and Rizzo just overall didn't really have great springs productive wise. Now Rizzo had a nice opposite field hit today, as well as Stanton also had a hit up the middle there. So okay, you don't worry too much about spring training, but for Stanton to go the entire spring training without hitting one home run, I mean, it's kind of opens your eyes there. But I guess nevertheless, seems okay now. So hopefully he gets to start making some better contact and get his bat heating up the way he was the first half of last season when he made the All-Star team. But for the game itself, it was a good matchup. Logan Webb versus Garrett Cole, and both pitchers were really on top of the game. Again, Webb just with really one mistake, really. I mean, ends up giving up 2 home runs. Now, ironically, Judge just first at bat, first game, bottom of the first, hits a solo home run, kind of a inside, kind of a sinker that kind of went inside, and Judge was able to kind of get his hands under it and kind of loft it over the center field wall there. But it's just like I can't remember a situation like that where a guy signs a big $360 million deal or a big deal like that, and his first at bat hits a home run. So instant payoff for a Judge there. So it's good that he keeps it going. And it'll be one of those things where it's like, imagine you've gone a week or two without hitting a home run, and then people will start getting on him. Oh, he signed this big deal. He's not hitting home runs. And then the pressure starts getting on him. And then he starts, swinging outside the zone and everything like that. So it's just kind of good to get that first one out of the way and just kind of take it from there. So good there. So that was in the first inning. So put the Yankees up 1-0. Cole kind of breezed through. I mean, the only time he felt a little uh-oh-ish was actually the top of the first. Actually walked the first batter on 4 pitches. Looked like the ball was sailing high on him, but then struck out the next 3. Really looked sharp. Then hitting upwards of 98, 99 a couple of times there. So and from there he just kind of dialed in. And again, the Giants lineup, I mean, that's barely a major league lineup though, just to be fair. I mean, we have Conforto in the second hole. Okay, he's kind of a decent hitter, but he missed all of last year with a shoulder surgery. So, I mean, he's kind of working his way back. And the rest of that lineup, Flores and Estrada, who used to be with the Yankees. Again, it's just a real pitiful lineup there. So, not a shocker that Cole and company kind of cut through them, kept them to 2-0 runs on the board. So, at the end of the day, Cole finished, just won 6 innings, just gave up 3 hits, but had an incredible 11 strikeouts and only 2 walks there. But Logan Webb, to his credit as well, he was almost, matching Cole shot for shot there. He also went 6 innings and struck out 1 more, had 12 strikeouts. But again, he was pretty much undone by the 2 home runs, 1 to Judge, and then in the 4th inning with Donaldson on, Gleyber Torres kind of hit a little bit of an opposite field, right field. You kind of get say one of those Yankee Stadium home runs. So, maybe not a home run in some other parks, but nevertheless, he put the Yankees up that point. 3-0. And then the later the game, DJ LeMahieu added an RBI single, which was good to see at that point. He actually had struck out 3 times in the game. Again, a lot of Yankees struck out in this one because, again, Webb was filthy. And even Oswaldo Cabrera, he took a golden sombrero with 4 strikeouts. So, again, a lot of Yankees struck out there. But, again, just got enough runs there. And then afterwards, a couple runs on Judge, kind of single that kind of just dunked right into center field there, kind of an excuse me sort of swing. It put the Yankees up at that point 5-0. Again, the game was well out of hand even before that, but nevertheless, put the game away there at 5-0. That'll be a final score. And again, pretty much a breeze and a perfect textbook opening day for the New York Yankees. again, before the game, they had the lineups and, called all the Yankees out and had Volpe come out there and he got the big hand. And Volpe also swiped the bag in a base in this game. So it's good to see him get his first major league steal. Now, didn't really make too much of a stink of this, but about a couple of days ago, actually, they forced Volpe to change his number. Again, he was 77. He kind of wanted to go with that. And the whole deal is that, his grandfather was a big Mickey Mantle fan, so why he wanted to wear the 7. But now it's like this stupid rule that if you're an infielder, you have to have like a low number. Kind of what they're doing in the NFL now, like running back can only be certain numbers, offensive players can be only certain numbers. So they want to do this now with infielders. You have to be a lower number. So I guess, with the Yankee lineage and what's available, because pretty much everything's retired, he ended up going with number 11. I don't think it's a big deal. I know players are superstitious with numbers and so forth, but again, he's been in the minors, so I don't think it's a thing that really would make big of a difference. I guess if he's like a 10-year vet and you change your number, it's like, oh my God, but for him, this, it's going to be his first number anyway. And really it's for the better. For number, he ended up choosing number 11. Now he supposedly made the phone call to Brett Gardner, who kind of technically never really retired. He kind of left the door open last season, but the Yankees didn't sign him. And then Toronto was kicking the tires on Gardner, but nothing happened there. But I guess they never really officially kind of ceased Gardner being a Yankee as a possibility, even though there's no way he was ever going to come back if he wasn't going to come back last season. But Gardner kind of gave his blessing, so now the new carrier of number 11 will be Anthony Volpe. But actually, I think it's for the better. First of all, I think it's really stupid when these players have these like football numbers. And I know Judge does it, but Judge is a special situation. I know at 99 because he's a big guy. He's a freak of nature. So to have like a freak of nature number kind of fits there. But other players to be like 71, 72, 77, it's just not a baseball number. So it's really for the better. So, I'm happy Volpe is number 11 now. And it's really good for him because it really if this guy turns out to be something special, which kind of seems like he's going to be, maybe. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Kind of puts him there in the Yankee lineage. You got, 7 Mantle, 8 Berra, 9 Maris, 10 Rizzuto, and then, next in line there will be Volpe. So I guess Volpe's in some big World Series moment. He could summon the Yankee powers and ghosts of Yankees before him, and, better off doing that at number 11 than number 77. So he'll be number 11 going forward there. And again, other than stolen base and, didn't really have much impact on the game there, but I'm sure at some point he'll get his first Yankee, home run and all that Yankee hit and all this stuff and whatever, and he'll keep tracking those moments as they move forward there. So again, pretty easy 5-0 win. Now the Yankees will have the next day game off, kind of just cool the Jets a little bit, and then get it going again on Saturday and Sunday to finish out the series against the San Francisco Giants. And kind of a chilly day, not really an opening day type of ideal opening day weather. It's kind of more fall weather, like 40 degrees, a little chilly, a little windy. Again, kind of surprised Judge home run went out just because, Webb's is a single ball pitcher. So you can expect him, especially on a cold day like this, be able to, just beat down on the batters there and make them beat the ball into the ground. But Judge, again, able to get enough loft on the swing there to take it out and give the Yankees the early 1-0 lead there. So that's where we are right now. We'll see. We'll go forward. We'll see if Florial, again, if he's going to be involved in some deal then, or that he's showcasing. But, the new Yankee right now, Franchi Cordero. Again, I'll just give you a little bit more background on him. I mentioned he was with the Orioles this year in spring training, but the previous 3 years was with the Red Sox. Last season with them, hit 8 home runs, 29 RBIs. So, again, he's not exactly David Ortiz, but a big guy. But he does strike out a lot. He has a 34.8 strikeout rate. Again, things that Yankee want is less strikeouts. Not, they want more contact, not less contact, but he has a lot of power. I mean, he had like 3 balls last year that went 450 feet or more, as well as, I guess he's 99th in the league exit velo. So when he does get into one, it does go a long way, but he does tend to strike out a lot. But again, I think this is a move for some flexibility, just to give the Yankees some flexibility in the outfield until Beta comes back, and maybe they don't want to beat up Judge too much in center field, so maybe he'll get some in the 7th inning they'll yank him and put Cordero out there, and again, and Estevan Florial in the game actually got a little action on the base paths after the Stanton single, able to pinch run for Stanton. So I guess that's how they're going to utilize those guys for that. So far so good. A textbook win for the Yankees, 5-0 put in the books against the San Francisco Giants, and we'll catch you next game.